Alright, so here's what you see when you enter the room, and this is how it looks from the exact opposite side of the room. I'm gonna start with these shelves over here on the right and left because they are not really related to art at all, so I'm just gonna quickly show you them and then move on to the interesting stuff. So here on the left is just a storage shelf. There's all sorts of stuff like electronic devices, boxes from like my tripod, video games, CDs, things that I don't necessarily want to display anywhere but I still want to keep them, so they're neatly stacked in here. There's nothing much else to say about this. There are my cameras, and yeah, that's pretty much it about this shelf. If we turn around to the exact opposite side, we have another shelf. This is my display shelf. This is where I keep all of the stuff that, you know, I like, that I want to display in some way. So here, books, comics, video games, DVDs, magazines, just everything, and they're kind of sorted by theme and like what they belong to, and I just keep them here to look at them and be inspired by them, and honestly they just didn't fit in my bedroom anymore, so they're here. Okay, so that's the non-art related stuff. Let's move on actually to this part of the room. This is stuff that all has to go into recycling, but I don't have a car and I really need one to put the stuff into recycling. And then on the top there's just a bunch of Christmas decoration that still has to be put somewhere. Over here is my piano. I've been playing piano for a very long time and I just couldn't live without it. I'm gonna move this away now so we can take a look at the shelf. So bear with me for a second, please. Oh god. I'm hitting things. So I got this wooden shelf. It was the cheapest that I could find. It's a little bit wonky if you look at it closely, but yeah. At the top there are a few miscellaneous things actually. A Harry Potter print, a Game of Thrones print. I don't really want to put them anywhere like on a wall, so they're just resting there for now. This is a painting that I got from an art trade with ScrutinyAffliction. I will link her in the description. She's a really nice person and she painted my character Eowyn. She's just resting up there right now because I haven't really found a place for her yet, but I want to put her up somewhere. Just miscellaneous like material that's like craft foam and stuff. Not very interesting. Let's get into the shelf. So over here is my little mannequin. I don't use this for drawing at all. The proportions are not right. You know, it's a nice piece of decoration in an art room, I think. There's a lot of candles over there. I love candles. If you've seen any of my videos, especially my vlogs, you know that I always have to light a candle when I'm working, and these are all pretty much running on empty because I just use a lot of them. This is actually a piece of salt from Israel. My flatmate went to Israel and went to the Dead Sea, is that what you call it in English? And yeah, he collected this piece of salt there for me. My band-aid got stuck in the salt. And then over here are books that are kind of related to art, but not really, you know. They're mostly in German, sorry about that. So this is basically a summary of like visual arts, kind of like a lexicon, I guess, but with images and pictures. So in case you kind of want to look something up, you can look into here. This is just a photo book of Omaha in Nebraska because I went there for an exchange trip a few years ago, and the family that I lived with, they gave me this book so I could remember the city and learn a little bit about its history as well. This is a book that I got at the Louvre when I went there for another exchange trip that I did years and years ago. I was like 12 or 13 when I went on that trip, and yeah, this is just a little, you know, picture book from, you know, the most important works of art that you can find in the Louvre. This is a book about mythology, and this is a book about archaeology, another sort of lexicon kind of thing, because I wanted to become an archaeologist for the longest time, and this is more like for kids, but I still like to look at it sometimes and get inspiration and just, you know, think about how my life would have been if I had actually become an archaeologist, I guess. Over on this side we have art books. So on the top here are a bunch of art books by actual like independent artists. So there's actually a print by Khantaya. These are all art books by Kun. I will link her in the description. I feel like I plug her in almost all of my videos because I love her stuff so much. So I have, I'm not sure if that's all her art books, but I think yes. So I got these. I also have this one. I've had this for ages. This is by Nuri Kun. I will also link her in the description. I think you can still get this one. It's really nice. More leaning toward the anime side, which I don't really draw anymore, but the artwork in here is just so lovely. This is a joint art book by Razuri and Ulvar. Both are among my favorite artists. I just really like their style and the way that they paint and color things. Yeah. Here's an art book from Guild Wars, the Nightfall one. I think my brother back in the day got the collector's edition of that game, and it had an art book, and I snatched that one because I wanted to become a video game artist for a long while. Then we're just gonna go quickly through this one. This is a Star Trek magazine. This is actually a Mirror's Edge comic, a Halo comic. I have more video game comics over there in that shelf, mostly Mass Effect, because I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, but the other ones I have here. There's The Skillful Huntsman. This is a really good art book that goes a lot into character design. This is a journal from Gravity Falls. I'm a huge Gravity Falls fan, and it's really, really cool. If you're a fan of Gravity Falls, you have to get this. It's really good. This is an art book of Fable Legends. That's a game that never came out, but the art style is so beautiful. I love the Fable art in general. And of course, Mass Effect. Really, really good. This is, I think, my favorite art book. It's so good. And then I have just, these are more like photo books and picture books of the designs of Star Wars episode 1 and 2. And then this is another like picture book, photo book from the Valley of Kings in Egypt, because I wanted to be an archaeologist and I wanted to specialize on Egypt, and so I have a lot of like really gorgeous books with pictures of that, and I just keep them because they're so great to look at for inspiration. If you ever want me to do like a tour of the actual books and like recommend some to you, then feel free to like comment and I will do that. And then up here is my favorite postcard ever. I got this in Omaha when I was staying with that exchange family, and I think it's hilarious, so it's here. There's a plastic plant over here. It doesn't have a pot at the moment because I put my actual plants in the pots and I haven't gotten a new pot for this one yet, but yeah, it hangs down nicely. Down here we have, I guess, the first art supplies of this tour. Surprisingly pretty late in this tour, but yeah, brushes, a lot of brushes. These are my very used old ones that look very ugly and, you know, are kind of dead, and these are the ones that I kept in a fairly good shape, and I just glued Star Trek art on here that I found on the internet. I don't know any of these artists. I really should look them up and put them in the description. If I can find them, I will, because I really love this one. This is a drawing of Janeway, my favorite Star Trek character, my favorite character in general, honestly. These are my pots that I put water in when I paint with like watercolors or something. Yeah, that's my money jar. It's a dinosaur. I love dinosaurs. I've had this since probably elementary school, and it's just, I don't really put my money in here anymore, but I like dinosaurs, okay? So I just keep it around. Down here are all sorts of books about, oh, actually different things. This is about movie, and this is also about movie and screenplay writing, because I used to be a lot into like movie making, and I was making a lot of like short movies with my friends, and I was very interested in like storytelling and how to shoot movies and stuff. And I still am. It's still a big like interest of mine, but I'm not really pursuing it anymore that much. Well, I guess I am with having a YouTube channel. I'm still filming. It's not really fiction. It's just life. But yeah, this is a book about the history of comics, and this is a book about game design that I had to read for university back in the day. Over here is a stack of magazines and things. This is my Dungeons & Dragons folder. I usually play D&D digitally because we don't all live in the same city, but sometimes we meet up because we're all from the same hometown, and then I bring all my physical copies of things, and it's nice to keep them in here, and it has very nice artwork on it as well. Over here is more stuff, art stuff. This one is actually hidden. It's about anatomy, classic human anatomy, more anatomy books. Just these are more like educational books related to art. Concept Artist magazine, Color and Light by James Gurney, really good book. Framed Ink is also a really good book if you're into comics, or if you like dramatic lighting in illustrations, then this book is for you. This is my Graphic Artist Guild Handbook. These are all my escapist magazines that I have so far. This is about just drawing. This is about like modeling with clay. This is about acrylics, perspective for applying at art schools, how to draw manga, and how to draw with ink. I don't really use these much anymore though. I had them when I was younger, but I've never really learned from them, honestly. It's just something that you kind of kept getting for a birthday present because people knew that you like to draw and things like that. I just keep them around just in case, but yeah, what I really use are like these books for anatomy and stuff. Over here we have Iron Man holding up my stack of books. This is a book called The Fantasy Bible, and it contains all sorts of infos about certain fantasy, like races and characters and tropes. It's kind of funny. And this is a book about the psychology for designers, which is very, very interesting. This is acrylic paint, mostly metallic paint, white and black, and some spatulas that have seen better days, honestly. I'm not very good at cleaning things. You can kind of tell by my destroyed brushes over there that I just hate cleaning things. Moving on to this little corner right here. This print is by Volti, so shout out to Volti. There's tea over there. I love tea so much. I'm a huge tea addict, and I mostly drink loose tea, so I keep them in these little jars, but they're running on empty. I need to get more. Another plastic plant that has no pot and looks kind of stupid. These are things that I used for sculpting while I was at uni, because we had to sculpt from time to time with Super Sculpey. Graphite pencil, just a bunch of them. And here's everything related to ink, really. Just ink pens, dip pens, some markers as well, like fine liners and multi-liners. Nothing too crazy, honestly. Moving on to this side. Here are a stack of sketchbooks. These are all finished sketchbooks, or for example, this one is one that I'm currently working in. I have almost finished this one, so it's gonna be finished soon. So here are all my last sketchbooks. I made a tour of this one. This is my anatomy like practice sketchbook, so that is not finished yet. That's my Sketchbook Slam sketchbook, my 2017 sketchbook. I showed you this one as well. No, I showed you this one. This is my clinic sketchbook, this one here. I've never showed you this. I want to really show this one day, but I'm kind of waiting for a right moment. Maybe a mental health awareness day or something like that. Because it's kind of, it's a little dark and gritty sometimes, so I kind of want to wait for the right moment. And here's just an assortment of like loose drawings. And then at the bottom of the shelf, just random stuff, honestly. There's some scissors and rulers and stuff like that in there. In this little box are my old graphic tablets that I don't use anymore. That's my old Cintiq. And then in there are things like my laminator, my cutting machines. Is that how you call them? Out of mind, out of sight till I need it. And then this roll is also a bunch of artwork that I did while I was staying at the clinic for mental health. Okay, let's move on. Let's actually switch sides and go to the opposite side of this shelf. So here's my trusty little shelf that I use to store almost all of my art supplies in. Since I'm mainly a digital artist, I don't really own that much of traditional art supplies, but over the years you kind of accumulate a lot of things, I guess. So there's a print at the top of this. I also already have a little bit of Christmas decoration up right now. This is a print that I got from an art festival about 2 years ago from Brookisia Studio, I think they're called. And in this corner, actually I'm gonna show you very quick as well. This is my microphone that I use for recording voiceovers for my channel, but also just songs when I write songs on the piano. And there's just an assortment of stuff, really. A yoga mat, a few tripods, my tennis racket, wrapping paper, and you know, a little bit of old artwork is also stacked back there. Nothing crazy. Let's look at this. Right. So this first compartment here has all sorts of paints in them. So over here there's acrylic paints. I have Schminke acrylic paints. I have also Amsterdam acrylic paints, which were a bit cheaper. I have a little bit of gouache here as well, also from Schminke. And yeah, just paints. And then there are palettes over here for my paints. Oh my god, so look at this palette, it's destroyed. Again, I'm very bad at cleaning things and keeping things well maintained. My water brushes, Posca markers, oil pastels. Over here there's all my watercolor palettes that I have. This one is by Schminke. This is so old. This is still from my aunt, and I think she bought it in the 70s, and I just it was still flying about in my grandma's place, and one day I just took it with me and I've been using it ever since. This is still from school. This is also watercolor. Reese watercolor. They are a bit chalky, I wouldn't recommend them. This is the pastel palette, watercolor palette. It's really nice. And this is a palette that my friend got me that she didn't use anymore. I haven't used it yet, but I might in the future. You can never have enough supplies, right? I mean, you definitely can. And over here we have palette paper. This is what I use a lot when I use watercolor, especially if I don't use much water. If I use a lot of water, I will use something that is very, you know, deep and can hold something. But if you don't use much water, yeah, I like it. It's a bit wasteful, I guess. Yeah, I have 2 of those. And here are my colored pencil, which are watercolor pencils, so they're water soluble and you can like smudge them if you use them. I really like them. There are a few missing because they're in my drawing pouch, because they're colors that I use a lot. And then here are markers. These are just, I don't know, a bunch of Copic markers. A lot of these have dried out already because I didn't use them much. These are alpha markers, which is like a Copic marker knockoff, you know, random markers and things like felt tip pens. I don't really use them that much because if I do use color in my sketchbooks, I usually use water-based like felt tip pens. I have brush pens over there that I'm gonna show you in a while. Right, moving on. This is a little bit messy, but it does have a system, I guess. This is mostly like stationery stuff. This is acrylic ink, actually. Maybe I should put this up here, but glue, tape, ink cartridges for my printer, paper, little post-it notes, wires, everything that you need, you know, related to stationery, erasers, really nothing special. Cutting things, cutters, deco foil is in here. Yeah, just gonna move on because it's not very interesting. Okay, this is actually my complete junk compartment. I'm gonna show you a little bit. There's mostly just packing materials in here, and here's a little bit of stuff for stitching. But yeah, it's mostly just materials that I have to store somewhere in case I want to pack something, or I need cardboard or foam, you know. I don't really go to this drawer a lot, I just, you know, keep it in here. And then at the bottom here we have a blurry mess. This has paper in it. A lot of paper, just regular little blocks, you know, for writing on it. This is actually still from uni. This is my English for game design thing, but there are unused sketchbooks because, of course, as every artist, I hoard empty sketchbooks. I want to fill them sometime, but yeah, I really should not buy any more. And here's just random stacks of paper, more sketchbooks, Jesus, oh, all drawings. It's actually, yeah, paper pad, copy paper, acrylic paper, and like watercolor paper. Yeah, this is just a bunch of artwork that I didn't know where to put. My glazing chart. Yeah, just paper, really, honestly. Right, let's move on to the desk area. This is the last bit of my office, and honestly the space that I spent the most time at or in. You know, since I am mainly a digital artist, I use my tablet a lot and my iPad and my PC for editing, and I'm gonna show you what's on there in detail right now. I'm gonna start on the left side. First thing in this desk area is this little shelf. I have my printer up here, and here's a spare pillow in case I need one more on my back or something. This has paper. This is mostly sticker paper, and then here in the back are like foils for putting stuff in. Is that how you call them? Foils? One of those things. I'm talking about those things. Okay. Down here is my actual printer paper, just a bunch of cardboard in case I need to send something off, like a piece of artwork or something, and I need like a backing so it won't bend or something, you know, just in case. I should put this into recycling, but I'm too lazy, honestly. And then in here I keep, first of all, this little pouch, is that what you call that? Pouch, maybe? Yeah, so there's a pouch with stickers, some of which I made myself, some of which I got by friends or bought from people. There's a little bit of stationery that my friend Ivy sent me, and then down here is some of my Galaxy washi tape. I have more, but this is like the ones that I haven't used up yet. So yeah, put that back in here, and then down here is just more random things. Random maps from Elder Scrolls. They used to be on my wall in my bedroom, but now there's no space anymore there, so we're just chilling here. My Spanish vocabularies, because I'm trying to learn Spanish, but I'm not very consistent at actually studying. And just a pouch, a mouse pad, you know, just junk, really. Over the shelf is my wall of photographs of like friends and families. I'm trying not to, like, maybe I can blur this out a little bit. I'm trying not to show them too much. I've actually thought about taking them off, because I realized that I do film a lot into this direction, because when I put them up I thought that I'm just not gonna film that wall so much because I don't want to like share these pictures on the internet so much, but I actually realized that I do film in that direction a lot, and so I think I'm gonna take them down and then put them up somewhere else, maybe in my bedroom or somewhere else in this flat and maybe put some art prints there. Honestly, I just always feel bad when I'm filming in that direction and I'm like showing them, you know what I mean? My voice is slowly dying. I'm sorry if I start to sound like really hoarse. Over here on the windowsill we have just more random stuff. There's a picture of Captain Picard from Star Trek. If you haven't noticed already, I'm a huge Star Trek nerd. This used to be like a yogurt bucket, but yeah. I have mostly text markers in here, some of my brush pens too. These are my felt tip water-based brush pens, but they have a brush pen and then like a fine liner tip on the other end. And they're really nice. They're water-based, so I can use them in my sketchbook without worrying of them like going through the other pages and bleeding too much. I just got the cheapest ones that I could find on Amazon. That's what they're called. Nothing much to say about them. I like using them, but you know, they're not the craziest, most amazing art supply ever. This is my pouch where I keep my most used art supplies, like my traditional art supplies. Things for inking, things for sketching, like a Copic marker for skin, gray Copic markers. I'm not gonna go into detail too much because if you want I could go into detail, but I think in my last workspace tour, the one that was still in my bedroom, I actually go through what's in here, so if you're interested, the things haven't really changed much. It's just a hole punch, more tape, and you know, just things. Pens that I use a lot, tape that I use a lot. There's a little bit of ink here as well. A little Pokemon friend over there. Nothing much to say about this either. Here's my desktop area. I have this lovely little plant thingy that I got from IKEA, and they come in this little square format, and you can put them together in any shape that you like, and I just thought it would look really nice to have them here, like going up like this behind my desktop, and I really, really love it. I am a person that's inside a lot and having green stuff around me, like plants, even if they're just plastic, it makes me feel a lot like free and not so trapped in this room, because sometimes that bothers me a lot. Plus, ever since I moved into this room, I also have a wonderful view onto the woods. I used to have a view on the street in my bedroom, which wasn't that pleasant, but the woods are very nice and very calming too. Usually this place is littered with candles when I work. Over here is my bullet journal. Yes, I have a bullet journal. No, it's not very artistic. I can actually, I'm gonna show you a little bit like this. So this is how it looks, you know, there's not much crazy stuff in here. I tried at the beginning, you can kind of tell here, that I tried to be like super artistic with things, and but I realized very quickly that I'm just not that person. I'm the kind of person that writes something down quickly and, you know, needs to be quick with these things, and I don't know how to explain this, but it's more a functional notebook more than a bullet journal, really. I still try to make it neat in a way, but it's for taking notes. So over here is a sign that says Tyrannosaurus Rex roaring ahead. Again, I love dinosaurs. Tissues, because I'm a little bit ill at the moment and I need a lot of tissues. This is one of my favorite quotes by Nietzsche. This is obviously in German, but it says, my fortune will be to do exactly what my inner voice drives me to do, and besides that I don't want anything else. And that really resonated with me, because it's kind of this notion of, as long as I'm doing what makes me happy, I'm gonna be okay, and I don't need anything else. And that's obviously a very idealistic approach to things, but it took me a long time to realize what made me happy in my life, and ever since I stuck with this mantra, I've been so much happier. So it's always here next to my desktop to remind me that I am doing the things that I love, and I'm very happy about that. And I used to be in such a worse place, and now I'm in such a good place, and I really appreciate that. Over here is my trusty graphic tablet. It's a Huion. Yeah, I don't remember which one. But yeah, I've had this since the middle of this year, so for a few months now, and I really like it. It has some issues. Mine is actually broken a little bit. The touch bar at the side doesn't work, so I still need to contact the Huion customer support about this. I'm just too lazy. Behind this, I can show you real quick, is my little secret bag of very unhealthy snacks, because sometimes you just need snacks, right, when you work. So that's always behind my graphic tablet, so I can get some chocolate when I need it. If you look in this corner, there's just my tablet pen and a Star Trek mug, and that has my glasses in them. I recently sat on my glasses, which you will also see in the next vlog that I upload, and it's not too bad. I can still use them, but I was very upset about that. Sometimes you hear stories of people sitting on their glasses, and you always hear those stories and you laugh because you think it's so ridiculous and so stupid. Like, how do you sit on your own glasses? And then I did it myself. Oh god. Oh well. This is my iPad. I got this recently. I'm broke now, by the way, but I really like using it a lot. It's what I'm mainly doing art on lately. And this is a sticker by Volti, which I will also share in my next vlog. And this is the tea and bun sticker that came with a charm. I can't pronounce things right. Alright, last but not least, I guess, I mean kinda least, this is my PC. It's very messy down here, please don't mind that. This is where I keep some of my Christmas decoration. I'm definitely gonna put them in the basement once this Christmas is over. But for now I don't really mind them down here. And then this is pretty much the last shelf, and I'm not gonna go into detail about this. So this at the top here says work, just administration things, tech in here, a bunch of cables, things that you need, and down there is like all my financial stuff, like my book where I keep all my like records of how much money I spend and how much I earn, things like that. So I'm just not gonna show you that. Well, this is it. This is my office. I really hope you enjoyed this tour. It's not quite where I want it to be. There's still things that I want to change. For example, I talked about this wall is gonna change. I'm gonna have maybe some more art prints up there. And another thing that I really want to tackle is to declutter. I've recently started to declutter my life in general, like my clothes, my rooms, the things that I own, and work a little bit more toward minimalism. Not in the sense that I don't want to own things anymore, but I just only want to own the things that I actually need and that I actually use, and so things don't take that much space up. And I'm not gonna throw away anything, I'm just gonna use them up slowly and not keep buying new things, you know what I mean? I'm very fortunate to have an office like this. I know I am. It was really just a stroke of bad luck actually that I got this, because our old flatmate moved out just very like promptly, and well, he wasn't very nice about it. We used to be friends and then he kind of bailed on us, you know, but I got an office out of that situation, so I guess you can make something good out of a bad thing. And yeah, I'm very happy that I'm in here. And if you actually want to see me move into this room and how this looked when I moved into here, because this used to look a little bit different, then you can do that. I have a vlog of that up. I will link it in the cards and in the description. That was my first ever vlog that I made, and it's maybe a little bit awkward, but maybe it's interesting for you. And if you do want to compare how I work now versus the way that I used to before, you can check that out as well, because I do have an office tour of my own like bedroom workspace up as well, and I will also link it if you're interested in that. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that you're watching this and that you made it to the end, because I know these videos tend to run very long, so I'm just gonna stop talking now, and I'm gonna see you next week for a new vlog. And thank you so much for sticking with me and supporting me, and I'm very happy and fortunate, and yes, thank you. Bye.